The 2DS is an interesting console. It provided why? The 2DS is an The 2DS is an interesting console. It provided an affordable alternative to the 3DS in a time when my family probably couldn't afford getting 3DSs for each of my siblings and me. The first game I played on my DS was Yoshi's Island that came pre-installed on my version of the console, but that game was awesome. I love the crayon art style, but there wasn't really much else to say other than it was a Yoshi's Island game. Yeah, I'm scarred for life too. If I remember correctly, the first game I ever got that I could call my own was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which in my opinion is a great game. If you haven't played it, I suggest picking up the enhanced port that came out for the Switch recently. This game utilizes a lot of what was special about the 3DS's 3D mechanic, where like certain objects and bosses would like come to the foreground and mess with the perspective. The only downside with the 2DS is that I never got to experience any of the games like that, but thankfully that's really the only complaint I have about the 2DS. Maybe the screen's a little small, but it gets the job done. I mean, you're watching this in the resolution of the DS screen, so I'm planning for the screen size to be small, and the developers also knew how small the screen would be when they designed games around it, so they did a pretty good job. A good example is the second game I own for the 2DS, the Ocarina of Time remake by Grezzo. They utilize texture work to hide the fact that they don't model everything on certain objects and NPCs. Since the screen for the console is so small, things just kind of blend together sometimes to form a bigger picture that makes the illusion of a more detailed scene. Alright, now for this next one. It wasn't the third game for my DS that I own, but it certainly was one of my favorites. Animal Crossing New Leaf. This is easily the best game in the series, because it just is. I remember staying up late and trying to catch bugs and hitting random rocks, hoping to get bells because rent is due soon and Tom Nook isn't a nice man. I remember there being two versions of this game, one being called Welcome Amiibo, and Amiibo was like something that the 2DS couldn't support, so I never got to like use them for anything, which meant I couldn't make my own fighters in Smash and store them in the Amiibo. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I never owned an Amiibo. My favorite memory with this console has got to be when I was heading to my great-grandma's house with my cousins, and I was on the final boss of Ocarina of Time, and I had been stuck on this boss for like a day or two because I couldn't figure out how to beat it. But earlier in that day, when I was at my cousin's house, one of my cousins told me that I had to use the hammer to beat Ganon. And so now, in the car ride, as my cousins watch me play the 2DS on the tiny screen, I use the hammer and beat Ganon. I didn't think that what my cousin had told me would work, and I thought it was just like a rumor or something, but it worked. The credits played for a while as I entered my great-grandma's house. That was one of the last times I saw her before she passed. I didn't know her very well, but she was super awesome and sweet. And I would always play the 2DS there and back during the 5-hour car ride. It never died on me once. It was reliable. It was always there for me. Thank you if you watched this video to the end. It means a lot. These take like weeks to make, and it means so much if you were like subscribe or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, yep, thank you, yeah.